Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be finishing out this little seasonal movie and makeup series that we have going on here by doing my summer makeup while talking about my favorite summer movies to watch. So yeah, if you're new, I'm Sky and here I like to do a little bit of whatever inspires me. So if you end up enjoying the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's just get right into the video. Okay, so if I sound congested, that's because I'm getting over a cold right now, but summer doesn't wait. Summer doesn't wait for you to get over a cold. So the first movie on my list is 50 First Dates. It's about this guy who basically he cannot commit to a woman to save his life. And then we have this really sweet woman. She got into a car accident the prior year and she has this amnesia to where she can only really remember life before the accident and can no longer make long-term memories going forward in her life. So they meet and he really likes her and they make a plan to meet up the next day. And when he goes up to her, she's just like, "Who are you?" Because she doesn't remember him because of the accident. So he starts to pursue her and like gets her to fall in love with him each day after like pretending that they just met. And it's really sad from like his perspective because he sees the relationship progressing and he's like falling in love with her, whereas she's just thinking that it's like the first date. So it's sad in that regard, but yeah, it's a really cute romantic movie and it takes place like sort of in like a tropical vacation area. So it's really like on the summer vibe and it's a classic. I feel like people should watch it. For summer, I love wearing shimmery eyeshadows, so I love this Fembot one from Rem Beauty. But my next movie is Aquamarine, and she would wear this. She would wear Fembot REM Beauty. So Aquamarine is about these two young girls. They're probably like 13 or 14 in this movie. And I remember being like around that age when I watched it for the first time. It was so cute. I was them. I was literally them. And one of them is going to be moving to Australia soon. So it's like their last summer. It's their last couple days together. Then there's a hurricane and the waves, they live near a beach. The waves like end up crashing up onto shore and it brings like ocean water and it just fills like the city pool. And in it, they find a mermaid. She's standing behind like this stand, I think, because like she had nothing on because she was a mermaid. So one of the girls gives her a shirt. She puts it on and she put it on in like the most aesthetic way possible. I remember trying so hard to recreate the like perfect like tie up like halter top neck that she did with a like normal long sleeve shirt, and I could never recreate it. To this day, I wish that I could. And she explains to the girls that she's a mermaid and she ran away from her arranged marriage, and the entire thing is like she made a deal with her dad to basically prove to her dad that true love does exist in order to get out of the arranged marriage. He sent her onto land in order to pursue this. And she only has a certain amount of time in order to do this before she turns back into a mermaid and has to marry whatever low-life little dolphin she has to marry. The guy that she sets her sights on is like the hot guy of the summer for these girls. It's like the guy that everybody in this like little town wants to be with. This movie always made me feel so summery and so like I'm a millennial. I remember wanting so badly to be a millennial growing up. Like it was ridiculous. I'm a Gen Z and I feel like that makes more sense for me. I wish that I could have gone to prom as a millennial because I would have shown up in a chevron dress, fingerless gloves, and some clip-in little like hair things. Girl, I would have been serving millennial realness better than any millennial at that party. But the entire movie literally takes place near a beach town, so it just feels so summery. It makes me feel like I should go get a tan and go swim in the ocean because I might meet Aquamarine. It's so cute. I 100% recommend this. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Next is Camp Fred, which the Fred movies were so good. My favorite one is the Halloween one. But basically, Fred really wants to go to camp. He wants to spend his summer doing the summer camp things that he always dreams of doing because he thinks like it's just so quirky, it's so cute, it will make him cool. And the people that think that Fred is annoying, I don't understand you. I'll respect your boundaries, but hey, do not come to my house. But he gets a little disappointed when his mom sends him to Camp I Want a Pee-Pee instead of like Camp Superior, the better camp, the one that's for rich kids and all that whatever. So he goes to Camp I Want a Pee-Pee, which is a little bit more run down, but like that's where the charm is. That's where the charm is. A run-down camp has charm. And he finds out his arch nemesis Kevin is at Camp Superior, and Camp Superior and Camp I Want a Pee-Pee have been competing against each other in these like summer camp games for decades. So they're doing that again this year, and it's like an entire movie about trying to beat Camp Superior. And there's like a whole conspiracy about like a giant mutant rat being like part of the camp as well. It's super entertaining. It's very millennial coded. It's a very nice throwback. It's a very short movie too. It's only like an hour. So I would say this is definitely just like a little quick watch. It's so fun. It's whimsical. People need to stop fearing whimsy and calling it cringe. It's only cringe if you think it's cringe, and you can choose to think it's cringe. Life's what you make, as Hannah Montana said. Next is The Kissing Booth. If you watched my spring one, this is another one of like, this is my trash. I will dumpster dive for this film. I love a cliche romance movie. This is right up my alley if you ask me. Three childhood friends, it's two brothers, and then this separate, she's not related to them, girl named Elle. And the brothers is, the younger one is Lee, and he's best friends with Elle. They're the same age and they're in the same grade. I think it's one grade above them is Noah, and they all grew up together, and Noah is just like that annoying older brother, you know, like the cliche. And what's very cute is like Lee and Elle have this little like friendship rule thing that they have going on, and it's like there's some really cute ones where like if the other person is upset, you have to like give them an ice cream or something like that. It's very cute. And they made them when they were kids, and they've been living by them since like literally forever. Lee and Elle are part of like some student body club, and they have to come up with like the fundraiser event, so they do a classic little kissing booth. So Elle gets put to be one of the people at the kissing booth to like be blindfolded and give out the kisses and whatever. I feel like this is just like so unsanitary. I've never understood the point of a kissing booth. I feel like it's just like a breeding ground for like illnesses and like different diseases to be passed back and forth between each other. But Noah ends up kissing Elle at the kissing booth. They start a secret little love affair behind Lee's back, and that just breaks my heart. Like, I was always rooting for Lee. Lee is my favorite character in the show. Well, it's technically a show. There were like a million of these movies, but in the movies. But I just feel bad that like he was lied to the entire movie because they're like doing everything behind his back. It's one of my favorite little rom-coms. I watched it for the first time with my friend Cassie, and I literally like can't think of that movie without thinking of her, so maybe that's why I like it so much. So the next one, I feel like everybody and their dog has seen this movie, Sandlot. This is such a good movie, and it's a cult classic for a great reason. Basically, it's like this new kid. If you've heard of the meme, like, "You're killing me, Smalls," this is where it comes from. So this dude, Smalls, that's his last name, but like that's just all I'm gonna refer to him to because I can't remember his name. He moves to this new place and he's trying to make new friends. He's like new kid on the block, and basically he goes out and tries to like make friends, and like kids are playing outside in this movie. Like kids are, you know, out doing things. So it's very easy to make friends in this like little world that they're living in, this mythical world that no longer exists. So he goes out and plays baseball with these random kids out there. And he's trying to make friends, so he is just playing out there with them. So he brings out his dad's autographed by Babe Ruth baseball because they like hit the skin off of like their other baseball and ruined it, so it's like they can't play anymore. So he just runs home, so he grabs his dad's autographed baseball and takes it, and then he shows it to them, and it's like, whoa, that's from Babe Ruth, and like they nerd out over it for a bit, and then they start playing with it. A home run is hit, and that autographed baseball goes into the backyard of like that cranky old person that has like the backyard of a World War II trench. And this neighbor has a dog that is like 4,000 feet tall, which is just massive and like extremely dangerous to be around. So the whole point of the movie is to try to get that baseball back because he would get killed by his dad if he did not bring that baseball back. So he jumps over the fence with help of the new friends. They try to get the baseball back in like less treacherous ways, but like they end up just trying to like get over the fence to get it and fight the dog. So yeah, long story short, they end up getting not the baseball back, but they get a replacement baseball for the dad. He still ends up getting grounded, but it was like a very like bonding experience for the boys. I really enjoy watching it. I feel like it's the presentation of it, not so much like the intense story plot. And it's very much from the kid's perspective because the dog is just like a normal dog. It's just like from the kid's perspective, it's like big and insane. I think it's a very cute film. It's very summery. If you're into baseball, I'm sure you'd like it. If you haven't seen it, I'm very confused. Next is one of my favorites on this list, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days. My favorite is Roderick Rules. That's just my personal favorite one out of the classic Diary of a Wimpy Kids. I have no idea what these new ones are. That's not my Roderick. Respect to that actor, but that's not my Roderick. So basically, Greg's entire plan for summer is to just play video games, but his dad revokes that because he's like, you can't be doing all of that all summer, which like, I remember watching that when I was little and I'm just like, let him play the video games, but now I'm older and I'm like, that's actually exceptional parenting right there. And I never gave his mom her 10s where her 10s were due. I remember thinking that she was such like a weird mom, but like no, she was just like actually trying to gentle parent these awful kids, which props to her, but Jesus. So this entire movie is about him trying to like figure out what he's gonna do this summer because, oh my god, he can't stand not being able to play his video games. He ends up going over to Rowley's house. I love Rowley. I think he's such a sweetie. I remember always being so upset with Greg because it's like, why'd you do that to Rowley? And there's a lot of different things that he does over the summer. He hangs out with Rowley a lot at his house. He like, oh my god, it's just like the amount of things that he does that like gets himself into trouble, and then he's like, what? I literally want to punch Greg in the face so many times. Like, it's literally so freaking annoying. But I think one of my favorite parts of the movie is like all of the stuff that happens at the country club, specifically when he keeps going there without Rowley and then like starts charging like 1,000 smoothies per day. I think for this movie specifically, it like leans into a lot of like helping the development of the relationship between him and his father. So I really like that aspect of it. I think that's very sweet. Yeah, there's like a bunch of different stuff that happens in here because it's like an adventure in summer type of movie. But if you have seen any of the other Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules is the best one. I hope everyone here can agree because we're all intellectuals. Dog Days is also still really good, so I'm just putting that back on everyone's radar. Next is Grease. I'm sure nobody was thinking about that one. So if you haven't seen this movie, please watch it. It's one of my favorite musicals. This is one of like the rare little like exceptions that I have with like older movies where like I just don't like a lot of older movies because of the quality of them, but this is one of the few that like I really enjoy. So Danny is like this bad boy in high school, and Sandy, she's just like this sweet angelic person who is like so pure and can't do anything wrong in my opinion. And like they meet up over summer, so like they don't know who the other person is in high school, and she's from Australia. She was just down for the summer. They just have like a little romance and it's super cute, super sweet, and very, very wholesome. And then she goes back to Australia, and then he goes back to like his high school thing, does his like whole shebang with like his reputation there. He doesn't know this, but she ends up moving there. At the pep rally, they end up meeting each other again there, and it's like so cute. She's really excited, and he like is excited at the first like glance at her too, but then like the social pressure of like being like a hard on the outside kind of guy, like he like sort of goes like he's the nonchalant guys of like this era, but back then to where he was a little bit more of like a overt jerk. That was like how he was treating her when they first met, and she quickly clocks that, and she's just like, oh well, you suck, bye, and throws her pom-poms at his feet, and then like she goes and cries, and it's super sad. Frenchie is like the only real girl's girl in that entire like friend aside from Sandy. So the entire movie is about like them trying to like find each other again, and like her making sure that he's a good guy, and it's just like, you need to be like the guy that I need. Like, I can't have you being like this certain way with me in private, and then like in public you treat me like garbage, or you expect me to meet you there with that behavior, because it's like, it's a little whack how everything is. And Sandy's trying to sort of like fit into with like the pink ladies, but then near the end they both like change into the opposite. Like she changes into his aesthetic, and then he does the same thing with her. He becomes a good guy, she becomes a baddie. That's where the whole "You're the One That I Want" song plays, and it's just like, you don't need to change yourself for the other person, you just need to be real with each other. My favorite character though is surprisingly not Sandy or Frenchie. I love both of them, but my favorite character is Rizzo. I don't know, I just love the complexities of her character of being like such a hard on the outside woman. She has to pretend that things don't bother her when they do, so she would be like, oh, I don't care, and like push people away. So I just love her character. I think a lot of the songs that she did in the film were also amazing as well. There Are Worse Things I Could Do is my favorite song from the entire movie. I feel like the vibe for Summer within that movie is not so much the storyline, but it is the vibe that it has. Like, sort of like the coloring, the way everything looks gives summer to me. And the very ending where it's like the summer schools out like carnival that they have going on, which, by the way, what was the school budget for that? What was the school budget for the school carnival at the end of the year? Because what the heck? My high school couldn't even afford having more than one like school dance in 1 year. So what the heck was the school budget for that entire thing? They had full-on carnival rides. Camp Rock and Camp Rock 2, the final jam. So Mitchie, played by Demi Lovato, she wants to go to Camp Rock so badly, and she's finally able to, but the only catch is that her mom has to be the chef in order to pay for her to go there. And she's just like, okay, cool, I don't care. But then when she gets there, she sort of falls into that pressure of like basically having a superiority complex measuring contest with everybody. So like she lies about her mom being the cook there. She literally pretends that she does not even know her own mom there. Like she still does sneak away from everybody and like in private helps her mom like prepare a bunch of the food and like cook it, all of that kind of stuff. But she will never say it to like other people there, the other kids there, that is her mom. And I think that's so sad. It's just like the adolescence, like teenager pressure to like fit in, and everybody else didn't have to have their mom be the chef in order to be able to go there. So she's a little bit embarrassed by it. She's trying so hard to fit in with specifically the popular like little clique there. And I'm just like, you don't deserve to be a backup singer, Demi Lovato. There's this dude named Shane, played by Joe Jonas. This is like a very like interesting cast looking back on it. He is there with like the rest of the Joe Bros, and they're playing brothers in this, but it's like their own different celebrity persona in it. It's basically like a musical rehab for him because he sort of let like popularity go to his head, and he's sort of like snarky. He's sort of like just very obnoxiously like, oh, I'm above you guys, and he needs to reconnect with music and understand why he likes music, not just for like the popularity that it gave him. He sort of like is seen as like a little bit of a jerk by the public, so it's a little bit of like reputational rehab as well. He's teaching dance classes, all that stuff. Then he hears Mitchie's character sing, and he like falls in love with her like a siren, like a pirate falling in love with a siren on a rock in the distance. And he literally spends like the rest of camp trying to find her, but then he sort of finds out that like Mitchie lied, and it's like, oh, so like who are you actually? It's like that double cross, like, do I actually know who you are because you were lying about this the entire time, like with the mom thing and like all that. They were sort of feeling each other for a little bit there. And then there is like the end of summer performance, and she sings, and he's like, you were the one that sung? They do like a little like cute duet. It was impromptu. Who told him what the lyrics were? The Disney knees were out and better than ever. But yeah, and then that leads us into Camp Rock 2, and it's the final jam. So basically they're just back for another summer. Everything is like greased up, ready to go, until they find out that there is another camp that opened nearby that is sort of competition. It's another music camp, and it's a very like wealthy one. It has like a bunch of like new technology. It's very big on like the show, like the showmanship aspect, rather than like the authenticity of like music making and having it be like an honest, beautiful like process, you know? Like it's sort of like granola music versus hyper pop. But yeah, it's like Camp Star versus Camp Rock, and they literally like are like rivals right from the beginning get-go. And it's serious because a lot of people are wanting to go to Camp Star because it has more of that like appealing factor, rather than Camp Rock that has been there for so long and is like notorious for being like a breeding ground for good music. And because of this, it puts the future of Camp Rock in jeopardy, because if you don't have campers signing up, then you're not going to have any money coming in. If you don't have money coming in, you cannot pay to have that land anymore, and then the camp will shut down. So Mitchie, naturally, she's very fired up because she's basically like literally Camp Rock's biggest soldier. Does the whole "we can't back down" music number, fires everybody up, and then they go and do a marching number that they had to have practiced at least for 30 minutes before they actually started going out there. They literally show up to the stage of Camp Star and they say, hey, you want to have a little bit of a riff off? And they have like a competition planning. Whoever wins the music competition will be able to like stay and continue to be a camp, basically. And then my last movie on this list is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I put this one super last because I feel like this one is the most like explicit. I know that The Kissing Booth and 50 First Dates also have like a bit of explicit scenes in them, but it's a little bit different with like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's like there's so much profanity in it to where I feel like I needed to put a little bit of a disclaimer here. I feel like, again, it's like one of those things where like the storyline isn't about summer, but everything about it gives summer. Like literally even the coloring, like it's such an orange and yellow movie. It feels like you're in the desert. I feel like this is one of like the rare movies that I would recommend to people where it's like, I need you to do a little bit of like historical research beforehand, because it sort of leans into like merging the storyline between Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio's character and the Manson family murders. Everything is not going to be spelled out to you in this movie, so it's a little important that like you watch like a little bit of a video on YouTube or something about the storyline of like what happened with the Manson family, so you can like see it all play out. Like it's very interesting if you know that stuff. You don't need to, you can watch it afterwards, but I would really love for people to like know what went on with that and like the significance of certain scenes were. So it's about this actor named Rick Dalton, who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio. He is a famous actor. He got really famous by starring in like 1950s Western films. Times have significantly changed. It's almost 20 years since he originally like went famous. So he's trying to like really find work that he likes, but like it's a Hollywood that he doesn't really see himself in anymore. And he's just like trying to scrape together literally anything, but it's unfulfilling. So he spends a lot of his time now with like his stunt double named Cliff Booth, and like they've just been friends for a really long time because he's like his consistent stunt double, and that's played by Brad Pitt. And the entire movie basically focuses on them and like what they're doing throughout the day, but some of the scenes do like pan over to this blonde woman and her husband. That is Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, and Sharon Tate's played by Margot Robbie. So basically, like, if you don't know, Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family. Rick Dalton, he actually lives next door to them in this film. We're very much just like observers in this film, watching their lives unfold and like what their decisions are. I think it's a very interesting film because like they all get involved with the Manson family in some way, and yeah, I just think it's a very interesting way to look at the situation and interpret it into a storyline rather than a documentary type beat. You know, it's very fictionalized in that regard. That's why I'm saying watch a documentary so you can see what they changed about it, and you can sort of be like, okay, no, I like that change, I like this, I like that. Because it's very much a Hollywood take on what they think should have happened, you know? It has a lot of profanity, so if you are going to watch with like your kid or you are a kid, do not watch this film. But of course, like, look at what's going on, make sure you're comfortable. It is one of those movies where I'm like, I like this movie, but also I understand like it's not for everybody. But I feel like all of the other ones are fine. But yeah, that's all of the movies that I have for you today. I hope you found one that you want to rewatch or just watch for the first time. I think all of them are such great movies. Yeah, let me know if you have any of your own personal favorite summer movies that you usually watch like every year. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.